because I actually do not like people like this idea that anyone can be English or anyone can be Scottish or Northern Irish or whatever. I think so. Your nationality in that sense is rooted to your ethnicity a lot, and just ignoring that seems a bit stupid to me, like, because no one else in the world does it. There
Mm.
is no white guy going around calling himself Japanese just because he was born in Japan and has a paper that says he's Japanese. So if I went around and said, okay, I came over here and I love Britain, that means ethnically I'm British. That's a pretty stupid thing to say, I think so. As far as I'm concerned, because of me taking an oath, like, and becoming loyal to Britain and getting the nationality, I would classify myself as a British citizen, right?
Mm.
So that's the citizenry that I'm taking up on. But I'm not claiming, the like all the blood, sweat, and tears that have been spent by the ancestors of this country. I'm not trying to steal that identity, because that's what it feels like when someone says that. And that question actually arose when it came to Rishi Sunak, when it was like, oh, he's as English as anyone else who's been born over here or been over here for a while. What I would ask the question to people is who his parents were, right, or are. They're both Indians, who he chose to marry then as well. He chose to marry an Indian as well. So what is he saying by his actions, right? He's saying by his actions that he rejects the culture, values, and traditions of this country by not wanting to mix with the ethnicity. So it's sort of like, if I come over here, I can never be English or British, like in that sense, right? But what I can do is by my actions give the chance to my kids to be one step closer, right? Because that's how it works. So if I marry a Western person, like I'm married to a Polish person, so that puts them a step closer. And then the choices that the values that I instill in them and the surroundings that they surround themselves with, or I give it to them, I don't put them in a parallel community where there's all Pakistanis or Indians around, but I actually put them in a mixed area where there's more native population around. Then they will make those decisions, right? And in every step, in every generation, they'll become closer and closer to a point where they will be indistinguishable with the native population. That is what assimilation is. Assimilation is not as if, like, I come over here and all of a sudden, because I identify as English, I can call myself as English. That seems much like a man identifying as a woman just because they wear a dress, right? So it makes a lot of people uncomfortable, because naturally, like the English people and like all the others British people as well, they don't want to be, rude to people. They don't want to be exclusive to people. They don't want to, have people who love this country not call them as their own brothers and sisters, right? There's a difference between having a good feelings towards people and not like having rooted everything in reality. There is a reality to it. So we could have like a lot of Sikh people who are very pro Britain and stuff. That's fine, right? But if those people and every other community is not integrating and not taking steps to assimilate, then what do you call that, right? Because
Yeah.
eventually they can be fourth, fifth, or sixth generation of people, but they'll still be in their own parallel community. They'll still have their own ethnicity. So they can be British citizens, but they can never be fully British because they haven't made that effort. And being British is not about like being able to speak English in a particular accent, or eating fish and chips, or wearing a suit. That's not what a nation is, right? So a Japanese person, we talk about Japanese a lot, but like even let's say Chinese person, right? If a Chinese person, even if they wear a suit and they're not wearing their traditional dress, or even a Japanese person not wearing their traditional dress, doesn't mean that they are not Japanese or Chinese anymore, right? They will still have a nature, they will still have a soul
Mm. Mm.
that is attached to their lands and nations and their ancestors, and that memory is still there.